I'm in the bush. I've got my slow combat model with an ASP 15 on it. I need to do an RPM check to understand whether the new engines are doing the same job as the old engines were, because they've had them for a long time and they're a little bit worn out. Anyways, you can see this model is also a little bit worn out, so it's just holding on to the engine for me today. So while I'm at it, I might as well give a little bit of a mini tutorial on running slow combat engine with a bladder, because that seems to be one of the things that stops people from having a go at this. So yeah, so let's just have a little run through of what I got. ASP 15 Taipan 7x4 propeller. That's a standard kind of thing. The main modification from standard is that it has a Stell's needle valve in it, similar to the Fora F2D needle valves. That's that little thing there, out of the way so it doesn't get damaged in the crash. It seems to work really well. Ideally suited for running with a bladder as well. And there is the bladder. It is a piece of latex tube, exercise tube. As you can see, this one is a little bit bruised, so it might be the last time I use this one. So it's basically just a piece of latex tube with a plastic plug on one end and a bit of silicone tube over an aluminium bush on that end. And that goes into plastic compartment on the model, and the F2D models come ready to go with that. Next thing you've got is the shut off, the pinch. So this is just a little clip that's built into the engine mount. Push the fuel tube that way, it pinches it off and stops the engine, or it stops the fuel flow. Push it that way, goes into the hole, releases all the fuel through the needle valve. So that's a critical difference between a bladder and a suction type engine or a conventional type engine. So how do we fill that up? With a massive syringe. This is a syringe from MBS Multiply in Kansas. It seems to be some sort of a medical irrigation syringe, but any sort of 60 to 100 cc syringe is going to do the job. These days I use 65 cc's in these engines, but when they were new they needed 85 to do the full 4 minutes. And as they wear in, get a bit looser, and they tend to use less fuel. So one of the keys to combat and using these kind of engines is know your engine, know what it wants and what it likes, and that fuel is I think this is 15% nitro and 25% oil, but usually I would use 10% nitro and 20% oil, just the most standard fuel you can get. There's my battery box, so 2 volt sealed lead acid cell with an ammeter that tells you whether your glow plug is going to work or not, and then the standard clothes peg kind of clip. And so we'll fuel this thing up and give it a go. So fueling it up. Fuel line goes through shut off clip. Fuel line is quite long, so it goes all the way around the engine. Plug on the little nipple into the thing, and it's going to be quite hard to squeeze it. As you squeeze it, it expands like that up to the limits of the cylinder that it lives in. When you get a brand new bladder, you want to train it so that it starts at the far end rather than inflating up here, otherwise it gets stuck. So yeah, basically just hold on to that end, squeeze it hard, make sure it expands at the far end. There's a good chance this one will burst because it's well past its best. So put it in, squeeze like hell. I don't need to put full this time, but you need to at least have a consistent flow. And once you've got enough in there, push fuel tube so that it's secured, pull that off. It'll squeeze out a little bit, so you need to be prepared for a bit of spray. Flip it upside down, put it through behind the engine or around this side onto and it doesn't hurt to put a bit of fuel into the Ventura because they tend to like a reasonable supply of fuel for a cold start. Flip it over until it all feels loosey-goosey. battery with the ammeter where I can see it, which means up there. I'm going to put the RPM gauge somewhere over there too. Install is wise because they bite sometimes. Actually click over the top. Know that you can get it off again. Earmuffs, because I'm already deaf enough. So what we're going to do, we've got 4 amps, that's about right. What we're going to do is just try and start it on the prime. When it fires, flick the fuel tube off, and it should just keep going. Adjust the needle as necessary, like usually consistent. So let's do it. When it needs a bit more fuel, you can have the fuel tube pulled into the opening and pinch it with your fingers. Just let a bit of fuel through. Put the fuel tube back into the clip and it will stop. Let's have another go. So glow clip on, start it up, release the fuel, away it'll go. The end.